Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. And boy, we're back in London breaking down UFC 286 versus Usman 3 for the welterweight title of the world. And as always, before we jump into breaking down this card for y'all, go down, like, and subscribe. Comment your picks for this whole card, your favorite pick, whatever bets you got. And these are your hosts, Paul, Pickle Winham Concha, and I'm joined with.
You already know, man. It's the most dangerous, the Don PYE. Your boy Kev, Waterboy Savoy, aka the non-Nigerian nightmare. You feel me? But better known as the people's champ. You feel me?
All right, people, champ. How you feel
Don't
about this?
forget, non-Nigerian nightmare. You said, what's up?
Feel about this card?
I think this card's a banger. And it's crazy, right? I was watching Izzy and the boys. They was talking. Izzy had one of his homies on there. His name is Southpaw Jack or Jack Southpaw, something like that. Crazy nice kickboxing. Old as fuck though. Nigga like 35. Yeah. But they thought this card was a banger because you got so many hitters. You got Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman. You got motherfucking Jack Shore on the prelims. You got motherfucking Lauren Murphy, the Ultimate Fighter winner. So imagine the Ultimate Fighter winner making a name for herself on a card with the Ultimate Fighter, with a former Ultimate Fighter winner. You got the co-main event, which is motherfucking Justin Highlight Gaethje versus the fucking monster known as Rafael Fiziev. Like there's so many hitters, and I miss Gunnar Nelson. Like you feel me? There's so many hitters on this card. Now I'm looking at like I'm thinking this is an 8.5, 9. I'm thinking because I don't like to give too much credit to cards beforehand no more. But like they was giving this shit like I'll give it a solid 6.5. I'm like, what the fuck?
Because
What did
prospect Muhammad Makayev, Jennifer Maya, she never won the belt, but she was former Invicta champ. She fought Valentina. She fought for the belt. Casey O'Neill, who's another big prospect on the main card. Marvin Vittori,
undefeated?
like I'm giving this card honestly just off of the names alone. It has to start at least 8.5, and I'm starting at
Facts.
8.5. Like I'm giving it an 8.5 going into it, just because I feel like the prelims could have been a little better, but they're also trying to give some hometown guys credit. All right, so I'm not gonna knock them for that.
I'm telling you, man. I got the passport, dog. UFC London is in our future because these bitches are bangers every time. Because the next one gonna have Tom Aspinall,
We're just waiting for our boy to get back.
and he's supposed to be working with BT Sports, so he's gonna be out there the whole weekend, just out there. You can't have a UFC London without Tom Aspinall.
No Patty, no Molly. What's going
Boys
on?
is busy. They busy right now. They should be training, but they'll probably be out there too. You know them boys.
Yeah, they'll show up. You'll see
They're
Patty
gonna be together and shit.
sitting there on the mic.
They're gonna be together, and then they're gonna be together, and then you're gonna look up out of nowhere and see tied to a Vasa because Robert Whitaker and Volk is there.
Oh yeah, no. You know the stars are coming out for this one. This is gonna be the stars are
Yeah,
gonna be out here.
you're gonna see a random tied to a Vasa shoe, and you're gonna be like, oh shit. And then the winner gets to chill in Miami. All the winners get to chill in Miami next card. So I'm just saying, this is UFC London is in our future.
But we talked about a little. We built up the card for y'all. We got y'all dicks on half chub right now. We're gonna jump into it right now. We got let's. I mean, fuck it. Let's talk about your homegirl. I'll let you introduce your homegirl. Opening the card herself.
Lauren, I don't know. Open up the card, the Ultimate Fighter winner for the women's. You'll tell me the division, but motherfucking my dog Lauren Murphy. So
No,
here's why I fucking Lauren Murphy.
Juliana Miller. Lauren
Oh
Murphy
wait,
we
my
got
bad.
last few fight. Yeah, no, you just have it. Yeah, you just smoked a little too much. I know. You
I'm
know.
hot. I'm hot. Joanna Miller. So motherfucking, this is why I fuck with her, right? I thought she was a sherm. She pulled up to the Ultimate Fighter because I watched the last season of the Ultimate Fighter. She pulled up on some lame shit like, I just need a hug. My grandma always told me if you're ever down, just ask for a hug. And she was like on some crazy nice shit. But like there's like she's like a WWE wrestler when it comes to the mindset of getting into it because she just blinks. Like when it's time to fight, she's like the nice, cool person. But when it's time to fight, she just blinks. That's why my nickname for her is Lauren. Lauren double agent. Dang, what's her name again? Joanna. Joanna double agent Miller. Motherfucking, because she just put that bitch on and she gets to fucking shit up. I mean, she's a monster. She's an animal. I want to say she won with a submission in the final. Like, she's the truth. She's a problem, and I want to see how far she's gonna go. And she's being slept on. The fact that she's starting this card off is telling me she's being slept on because the Ultimate Fighter season wasn't too crazy lit. But like, you gonna see.
Not so. I can't say she slept on too much just because she's a minus 440 favorite. Vegas definitely got her as a super favorite here. Van Hardy 6-4-1 plus 350 on the odds. I mean, Juliana Miller, every fight she's had, she gets usually a submission. Takedown accuracy 100%. There's 4 per fight. Like she's made sure to show that her ground game's great. And Van Hardy isn't. She's more of a striker than anything. Yes, she got a submission, but in her last win, she's like 1-5 in her last 5. But she did beat Polyana Viana, who is a UFC fighter. She's not bad herself. She got a submission in the first round, but Polly was on top for 45. It was literally a first round submission in like 50 seconds. First 45 seconds, Polly's on top, and then
Wow.
Ben Hardy gets like a little on the back submission. So as long as Juliana Miller continues to show that her BJJ is legit and her ground game is legit, I don't see any like minus 440 does not scare me off. I will definitely be adding this to a parlay just to get some better odds. But yeah, I like her too here.
I'm telling you, she's a problem. She's gonna be fucking some shit up till you run into it. Just till you give her a nice little hitter.
And then yeah, we got after that, you got Jaya Herbert versus Ludovic Klein. Jaya Herbert, the only thing I know him for is he dropped Illa Topuria in the first UFC London with Patty and them on the card. And like he almost won that fight, but since then he got dropped afterwards, lost the fight, and Illa Taporia has gone on and done great things. But I would just like to keep. I've always kept an eye on Herbert. I just want to see what he's a plus 160 underdog. I may sprinkle something on that. I don't know much about Klein. The only reason I may sprinkle on is because I just remember that he just that one performance has always stuck to me.
I
Then
mean, Ilatapur, Ilatapur is a future motherfucker in that division. So the fact that motherfucker he was able to keep it competitive and do some shit to him, and he's in London. Let's see what that boy can do.
and remember, this is crazy because things age, shit gets crazy. So like Taporia was the one that Patty was beefing with when he threw the hand sanitizer. Remember that first card, and everyone was like, "Oh, don't fuck with Patty. Yeah, it don't matter. It's him versus." And looking back on it, Patty was lucky. It's like I don't know, man. That's the wrong motherfucker to be throwing hand sanitizer at.
I'm telling you, bro, imagine he just
Yeah, Taporia was. You better be happy you caught a good Taporia that day. Well, another fight I want to highlight. We got Muhammad Mukayev, uh, one of my favorite prospects, 9-0 versus Hafe Filaho. Minus 900 favorite. I think every fight he's been in, he's been like a minus 800, 900 favorite. And he is the equivalent of like, he's London's Habib. All right. That's like London, you have yourself a Habib, and it's Muhammad Makayev. And I really think this guy is legitimate truth because we're watching another like all time great MMA wrestler that's literally manhandle people. And like, I don't think minus 900 big.
bruh's only 22.
Yeah, and so young. That's why I can't wait to see how good he gets in the UFC.
3 fight win streak. So that's all the fights that he's had in the UFC so far.
Yeah, he's the one. If you remember, he had the AK-47, and him and the fighter he's going up against was beefing because he posted it and was like, "I'll see you in London." And the other guy was like, "Oh, I'm with that shit. I'm from St. Louis." That was like the biggest drama that was going on for the last UFC London card. And then Mohammed is literally just went in there and was like spine busted him a few times. Literally,
It's some.
there was some bad moments in that fight. He's just different, bro. Like minus 900, it should tell you enough on how good he is.
That's scary. And he's starting. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on my boy. Yeah, you've been trying to keep him a secret.
And then we have literally the early prelims featured fight is Leon Murphy 11-0-1 versus Gabriel Santos. I don't know much about these fighters. They're both undefeated. And I'm just keeping an eye on this fight because the odds are very close, minus 180, plus 155. Gabriel Santos is the former champion of fucking, what was it called? He literally, his last fight was in January this year where he won the LFA championship. So, like, he's coming off of that. He's yet to been beaten. And the last people we saw make the crazy good debut was remember Terrence McKinney last fight? And he went up against the fucking that Brazilian. Like this is another Brazilian champion of LFA, of Brazil's biggest. And we're gonna watch him go up against undefeated Leon Melfrey, UFC fighter. Like this might be a good fight to just keep an eye on. Like I can't wait for this fight. And the only reason is because of how good Brazil's last people that came in did, and they just kind of left a good taste in my mouth.
He said a good taste in your mouth. Sick freak. But yeah, I definitely be watching that one.
That's my pick for.
I'll be nice and drunk by then.
I think that might be fight of the night right there, just because I think your fight is willing to put it all.
Do you understand? Do you understand that every Justin Gaethje fan just canceled you for saying that?
Oh, for real? Yeah, the highlight reel.
10 fights, 10 fights, 10 fight night bonuses. Like, yeah, boy's a fucking problem.
And then then we're gonna jump into is there anything left on the oh, my boy Jack Shore. Last time we saw my boy Jack Shore was against Ricky Simon. I was speaking so highly of Jack Shore that pick fight just for him to lose a decision to Simon. And now here we are now. Now he's 16-1 going up against Marquand Armikani, 17-8. And I just think this is a UFC giving him, I won't say an easy one, because Hawkmani is a really good like takedown submission artist fighter. But Jack Shore thinks he's going to come back strong. I think he's going to come back and right his wrongs.
I mean, Jack Shore is about to double back. And this is going to be the fight where I kind of learn a little bit more about Jack Shore so I can see, like, okay, he's not just a. But fun fact about Jack Shore. He was on Ariel Helwani this week, right? He was there on Monday. You know Jack Shore, cool guy, great guy. So Ariel Helwani has this new fixation about darts. So they were playing darts, and this motherfucker Jack Shore, there was some controversy.
I know the clip you're talking about. I've seen it.
And you know what's fun? I watched that shit live. Like I watched like they literally like hold on. Twitter is telling me that we need to go take a look at the footage of Jack Shore playing darts. And then the Twitter detectives was like, nah, bro, you cheated. So they say that he missed the first one. Well, he says he missed the first one. And then he boom, boom, boom. And I think he lost to Ariel. He beat Ariel 39-32 on some shit. Or I can't remember the exact score he beat Ariel on. But the screen goes black for a second because he's moving. And it looks like some people are accusing my dog of cheating. He said he moved that miss into a 20, and that 20 is why he beat Ariel. If not, he would have lost 32-39. Yeah. I'm just saying, man.
Just tells me that man by any means he's gonna get that.
I was about to say that's how I took that. I was like, he's gonna win by any means, and that's what he's gonna do on this motherfucker. He's not losing 2 in a row. And Jack Shore, we fuck with Jack Shore. He's gonna be on the podcast one day. We're not playing darts with his ass. He's gonna be on the podcast.
Unless it's in person.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's get into this main card. We got Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. Vettori minus 280. Dolidze is plus 230. Dolidze he got the takedowns. He's got the submission attempts. Like he's the full package here. Like this will be a good little fight for Vettori. He's coming off the Whitaker loss too. So let's see.
I mean, so here's my thing about Marvin Vettori. I think it's because I rock with Izzy so hard. I'm not a fan. But I'm not a fan. I really want to see what my boy, what's his name? Dolidze.
Roman Delazzi.
We're gonna call him Roman. I want to see what that boy Roman can do because this is gonna be a closer fight. I'm shocked that it was 280. I was expecting it to be like a 160, like 140 range type shit. But I got my boy Roman. I ain't gonna lie to you. I want to see what he does against Barberena wrestling.
And I really like the lot. Bro, he's been exciting since his last 3 fights, all finishes, all KOs. 12-1. His one loss is against Trevin Giles, and it's very, very. I don't know if he really should have lost that fight. He had more strikes, more ground control. It's just sometimes judges aren't fucking with you that fight. But
we don't know what they want.
Yeah, we don't know what they want. I just really, I think at plus 230, bro. There's no way I'm not picking Delazzi here. Like, I just don't know where they see. Like, Vettori is a great wrestler, and he's shown that, yeah, if you're not a top 5 fighter, you're not beating me. But I think Delazzi, as long as it is a 3-round fight, I think he can do enough in 3 rounds to win this fight. I really like him here, especially because BJJ. Like, I just don't know how comfortable is Vettori going to get in some positions. And he's a big guy. He's not small for the middleweight division.
Nah, he's fucking huge. He's what we call jack. But motherfucking, how did you like his cardio on the last fight against Whitaker?
Vettori, not good at all. He got figured out, and the moment he got figured out, he couldn't land a strike, couldn't shoot. It was such a piss poor performance all around. Like you literally got beat bad. Like in my eyes, like yeah, you didn't take a lot of damage, but you literally weren't able to do a damn thing.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't just me because after the last fight, I wasn't a fan. I thought I was a hater because it is, but I'm just not a fan.
Yeah, and I think Delazzi gonna be.
Let's go, Roman.
Delazzi gonna pop his ass.
I was gonna say, you think Roman subs him?
I think Roman gets a finish by fucking KO, bro. I think he gets on like ground and pound KO type.
Oh wow!
Like he drops him, he's going for the finish, and on the punches, fight's over.
Respect it.
And then let's get into the women's here on the main card. Women's flyweight. Got Jennifer Maia plus 150 versus Casey O'Neill minus 175. Casey O'Neill literally was like born for this. Her dad, former kickboxer, been in the gym forever, got his own gyms. Casey O'Neill was born in and been in gyms her whole life. She's been training since she was 9 years old. She's been went from kickboxing like her dad to rolling. She like literally she is like in women's MMA. Like she was born for this. She's done it her whole life. And she did fights at 14 years old and had to lie about her age and like lie to her parents because her dad didn't want her competing. And reluctantly he entered her into some amateur shit when she was like 18. And like ever since then, 9-0. And like here she is now, like on the main card. So much hype behind this fighter, bro. And I see it. She's 100% a perfect skill. Like she throws a lot of volume, got power behind her strikes, very technical with her kickboxing background. But then she shoots like 2, 3 takedowns a fight and can submit you anywhere. Like she is such a great fighter. I think she really is like if they get the right marketing behind her, she could really be the next big thing in women's MMA.
I like it. I'm glad we're on the same page. I really fuck with Casey O'Neill. I want to say, who did she fight last time? I feel like she mauled her.
And I just think the odds are crazy for her to be at minus 175. I think this is one of those fights where UFC loves. And UFC they love to make those fights where aging fighters against the new young talent, and they know the young talent's gonna win, and it just pushes them further into the division and puts a name for themselves. And I think that's exactly what this fight is like. Oh, you're like we're gonna add Jennifer Maia to your resume because you're only 9-0. We're gonna need you to start being into those top 10 talk. So here's Jennifer Maia, a lot older, 1-4, and her only one win is Jessica I, and Jessica I hasn't gotten a win since like 2020. So like,
oh wow.
Yeah, it's like the writing's on the wall. I'm hammering minus 175. I really hope everyone does the same. Like that's just free money sitting in front of us.
Should I bet the house?
I'm betting my house and Sham's house. Like they're both going up if we lose.
Nice.
Then I love calling it like there's the main event, co-main event, and then there's like the third. I love that third fight always because I'm like, you could have been co-main event. Like you're on the cusp of like main event stats. And we got Gunnar Nelson minus 370 versus our boy Brian Barberena, who's been a highlight reel like all 2022. That boy was a highlight reel, and I think he got fight of the night in every single one of his fights in 2022. Where he got the loss to RDA second round submission, but then he got the win over Robbie Lawler and the win over Matt Brown in both fights. All three of those fights were just great fight.
Those shits were like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was looking. I was kind of thinking of more of a. I was feeling Matt Brown on that one. But you know what's funny? Do you remember last time we was on a live stream and I was like, "Yo, Paul, remember I be doing like all types of crazy shit during the fights?" And I was watching. I was at a ball and I was watching a fight and I couldn't remember what fight it was.
Yeah.
It was Matt Brown versus Brian Barberena. It was whatever card that was. I'm upset. I just remembered.
That's UFC Austin.
So yeah, yes, that shit was lit. But Brian Barberena is a problem. But Gunnar Nelson is an OG. What I found out, they said that he was around like with Connor and the boys, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And there was a point in time he left for 3 years and came back.
That was 2019. He took like a 3-year hiatus. He came back last year. We saw him on the Volkov Aspinall card. He got the unanimous decision win on Sato, where he literally just took his back all 3 rounds, locked it up, and it was just like trying to get the neck crank and then just punch him a few times. Like every round was just like the same thing. Take the back and just control it. This BJJ, like he's almost like the Paul Craig of welterweight, where like he has the BJJ down pat. Like he's legitimate, one of the best BJJ fighters at welterweight, if not the best. But he doesn't have any stand up really, and that's what always hurts him. He took a 3-year hiatus. We only seen him that one fight at UFC London. The fights before that were 2019. Was the loss to Gilbert Burns, unanimous decision. Of course, you go up against one of the better BJJ fighters in the world. You're going to lose that one because he can do both. Then he got the split decision loss to Leon Edwards, which was a very close fight because he was able to get the takedowns. And a submission win over Alex Cowboy Oliveira, and then a KO loss to Sergio Ponzinibbio, who's a great stand-up fighter. So this fight is interesting to me. I'm like, is Gunnar able to get the takedowns of Brian Barberena, or is the stand-up fighter in Barberena going to be able to get some land some shots and defend takedown? I'm heavily on the side of Gunnar Nelson because I haven't seen much of Barberena to be like, oh, you're a fun fighter. I love rooting for you. You're a highlight reel, but you're not technically sound at all. So like when you're gonna start getting shot on and people start technically taking you down, especially like a BJJ black belt, I just think it's this is gonna be one of the more boring fights in my opinion. Like this is gonna be a fight where you're probably gonna turn away just because Gunnar's gonna be on his back for like 5 minutes around.
That's crazy. I think it's going to be the exact opposite. I think this fight is actually going to be competitive. I think if Brian Barberena can control this fight, it Loki would have been the it would be a good rival for fight of the night after Justin Gaethje. If Justin Gaethje and Fiziev wasn't here, like that's what I Loki was thinking. This fight could Loki go boom, 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 boom. Like Brian Barberena could get a nice second round finish. I'm taking Barberena on this one.
Plus two
I
nine.
see. Let's see what he can do.
I got the big Gunnar Nelson here. I mean, not every big favorite always wins, but we'll see. Just because if Gunnar Nelson can't get the takedown, yeah, you're probably right, and we're gonna see a KO. But I just don't see Barberena being able to stop those takedowns.
I got a lot of underdogs in this card. Nice. I'm fucking with it.
And on our co-main event, Justin the highlight reel Gaethje himself versus Rafael Fiziev, 12-1. No one's saying it's like the number one contendership fight, but like honestly, these are like I think the winner of this probably goes to fight Islam next, if not the Oliveira rematch. Who knows? But this is really the two top tier guys at lightweight going at it. Two highlight reels, two strikers. Even though Gaethje got the wrestling background, not much can be said.
I think it's funny because Gaethje has a wrestling background, but he doesn't use that shit for shit. And motherfucking,
He
I feel
shot
like Fiziev can wrestle too, just because. You said what's up?
he shot 0 takedowns in his career.
That's crazy. So it's gonna be a bang out. It's gonna Justin Gaethje's coming in there. He said, "Yo," at the weigh-in, like, "Yo, I'm the most exciting fighter that this company." No, he said, "I'm the most exciting fighter to have ever stepped in an octagon." So he's gonna come in and bang it out. He's gonna come in and go crazy. And I think he's gonna get caught with something slight, something nice. I think Rafael Fiziev, he's a monster. He's an animal. He's been on a tear. What is he on? Oh my gosh, it's a lot of wins in a row. Like he just beat the fuck out of He just beat RDA.
So he
He
was six,
knocked RDA. He
yeah,
beat
six
Brad
fights.
Riddell, Bobby Green, Moicano. Like these are names. Like I'm respect. Don't get me wrong. Justin Gaethje is a fucking human highlight reel. He's really similar to like, oh man, not Vince Carter, but he's similar to somebody that just comes out and he does great shit every time he steps in the octagon because that's what he does. That's what he lives for. Even when he was fighting Oliveira last year, at least that first round was competitive. It was lit, but Oliveira just does what Oliveira does. But I haven't gotten to see a crazy banger lit Justin Gaethje fight yet, and I refuse to go to the past to see it. I've seen two Justin Gaethje fights my whole life. I saw Khabib versus Justin Gaethje, champ versus champ, got tapped out. Motherfucking I saw him versus DeGrox, got tapped out. Both legendary motherfucking submission artists. I want to see Justin Gaethje go crazy, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I got Fiziev in this one.
I don't know where I really stand in this fight because I want to be like, well, maybe Gaethje finally surprises some people with a takedown. This would be a fight,
Stop it.
but then it's like, what has Gaethje shown in the past? Not that. And when Gaethje come to the attitude and the prep and the press and everything, pre-fight shit, it's all, oh, I'm the most exciting fighter the UFC's ever seen. So it sounds like he doesn't want to do it. But he's
He's not doing it, man.
6-4 in his UFC career, which I found crazy. I was like, damn, that's not the record I thought he would have in the UFC to be a top 5 guy.
I mean, it's all hitters though.
It is all here, but still 6-4 is not like the biggest. Like, oh shit, like this guy's been like the crazy dominant. But
Like
Rafa,
who's he lost to?
he got caught in his UFC debut by Megomed Mustafov, who a great fighter, beat Kevin Lee. He beat a lot of good fighters. Um, but could I see Gaethje catching for Z? I could definitely see it, but I could also see for Z catching Gaethje. If this was a 5-round fight, I would probably pick Gaethje. But because it's only a 3-round fight, I don't think Z's cardio is going to come into like come into fruition at all. And I think he's going to get, I think he's going to get the win here. But I think this is going to be a
Man, this shit.
dirty fight, bro. I think it's gonna be a fucking you're gonna get what you want, Kev, in this fight. I see it.
You gonna get? I'm gonna get what I paid for because I just got the notification that the pay per view is what $69.99.
Yep.
Yeah, it is $79.99 because some people don't have Fight Pass, so I'm gonna get every single dollar worth of my money.
So we're both rocking Vaseem on this one. And then let's get into the main event here. We got Leon.
I'm
Oh what?
Oh wait, real quick before we go, right? So this is gonna be funny to me. I think and one other thing about this is if Justin Gaethje loses this fight, it's just a Justin Gaethje loss. Nobody's gonna trip. Like they're just gonna find somebody else exciting for him to fight, probably later in the year. If Fiziev loses this fight, he loses a lot of momentum that he's been gaining towards getting that championship fight.
Oh no, he definitely does. And like that's a good way. That's what I'm saying. He's 6-4, but no one ever talks about that. Like they're just like, oh, Justin Gaethje's like that guy. That's why when I saw that UFC record, I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh, I thought he may have been like 10-4. I know he has losses, but I thought he would have more dubs.
It's funny to me because I feel like all that shit happened in the Apex, like during COVID. Justin Gaethje kind of saved. Justin Gaethje went ham during COVID, Like it's really easy to remember all that shit.
Him and Kevin Holland basically was saving the UFC from COVID. But let's get
Kevin
into
Holland did. I seen a clip. I seen a clip of Kevin Holland kicking Marvin Vittori in the nuts this morning. I was like, this is the type of shit I want to see this week. Take me back to the apex.
Yeah, I'm looking at both the main event fighters' records. It's crazy. 20-2, 20-3. Edwards versus Usman, the trilogy. Finally gonna set it off into 0-2 here. And let's just talk about it. Usman won the first one, unanimous decision win. Edwards gets the win with the head kick in the last moment. He's not cut from that cloth, as John Anik said. Legendary moment. But let's get into the nitty gritty.
8 years since my dog Leon Edwards is taking it out. 8 years, and it was to Kamaru Usman, fresh out the motherfucking Ultimate Fighter. So this is when shit gets crazy. So if you didn't know about this, you've been living under a motherfucking rock. But Leon Edwards, Mara Usman, August 20th. It was fucking crazy. If you did, that was my favorite live stream because we was deep as fuck on a live stream. Nigga, it was shot o'clock. I swear every other round, motherfucking. And when Leon Edwards kicked the fuck out of Kamaru Usman, we all shitted our pants, all at different times.
Yeah, it's fucking.
What do you remember the feeling? Do you remember the feeling when we saw this motherfucker kick the shit out of us?
Bro, that was such a crazy night because everyone was sitting there like, bro, like Usman is just fuck, like all that Edwards talk is dead. Usman is really the dominant because Usman was also on like about to beat GSP's record. That was on the line, like,
I think it was Anderson Silva.
or he was about to break the record, bro, and for that to happen was wild. And the fact you said it was 8 years since Leon Edwards sat last lost. Usman was undefeated for 8 years before Leon Edwards beat him.
Let's take it back to the first fight real quick. I know you've seen it.
Yeah, fucking 2015, they were on the prelim cards of RDA versus Cowboy Cerrone. Back on UFC on
Bro, that card was fucking crazy.
of all the hitters that are
That
on,
whole card was insane.
and
So many hitters, and it was in Orlando.
and it was UFC on Fox. Like that's how long ago it was. And Usman gets the unanimous decision, gets the takedowns, wrestles but Edwards has leveled up since then. Like I will say, Edwards, he showed some takedown defense in the first fight. I want to say he showed great takedown defense. Hell, he got a takedown himself. Like first person ever take Usman down. Give him that.
I mean, so in the first fight, Usman wrestled the fuck out his ass. Like that shit was crazy. But I also recognize that Usman also didn't want to strike with Leon for real, for real. It was in the second fight. That's when Usman really learned, like, okay, I can keep up with him. I can do this to him. I can make him feel very uncomfortable. But a lot of that first fight was Usman was getting the takedown and he was holding him. Like even on the cage, he had the double unders holding him. Like he wasn't going for that. The ref had to break him up. So in the second fight, this is where you come in when I think in the second fight. I think I didn't notice this until you said it, but you said that Usman is not wrestling like he used to.
No, but I also feel like he wasn't wrestling like he used to because he wanted to show. He wanted to show like I'm not just like if I beat him with straight wrestling for 5 rounds like a Colby Covington type of way, y'all are gonna be like like all you could do is people find ways to hate. They would he just could wrestle real good. So I feel like he wanted to show that he's the MMA perfect force. He's literally like the best fighter of all time. Like I feel like that's what he was really trying to show. Like some John Jones shit. Like don't remember me just for wrestling. Like remember me for fucking my MMA.
I respect it. I mean, you gotta throw some missiles if you want motherfuckers to do that shit. But it was just it was interesting because I was watching Joe Rogan and Jamal Hill, and they were talking about how Usman's like really there's no cartilage in there. Like he's very similar to D Wade. The way they was explaining it reminded me of how D Wade is. There's no cartilage in his knees. They say something like he's so tough that he does everything that he's doing, everything is in pain because of his knees. Like he has no cartilage. Everything he does in pain. They say there's sometimes he walks on the grass instead of the sidewalk because there's less pressure. And I was just like, oh wow, that's interesting. But Usman Usman still found a way to beat the fuck out of him. You got to give Leon Edwards the first round. You have to. And this is when shit gets interesting because Usman found a way to beat the fuck out of him for 5 and 7/8, 4 and 7/8 of the rest of the fight. You feel me? So like, but at the end of the day, it's not like you can say Leon Edwards threw that kick out of desperation, but they practiced that. They saw that in film. Like it's literally embedded in the motherfucking countdown. They practice it when he goes this way, type shit.
People pointing out that where the fight took place first time, Usman versus Edwards, there's a lot more elevation, which is why Edwards probably looked gassed more than he usually ever does. So people are really thinking that now that they're at the O2 where it's more sea level, that Edwards is going to be able to showcase his cardio a lot more than what he did the first fight, be able to stop takedowns, all that. So I mean that does add an extra layer to make it more interesting. But like I don't know how people could be on Twitter and legitimately sitting here like, oh, Edwards is gonna win this fight. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, like, do we not watch the last 4 rounds in 4 minutes of a fight before the last 3 seconds? So I'm heavy.
Hey, 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 hey. All I gotta say is they brought up a great point. He was talking with DC and RC, and you know DC and Cain Velasquez is like this. They brought up when Cain, the cardio king, got mother fought at high elevation. He was against Alex Overeem or something like that. He was looking kind of gassed, and it's the cardio king. He don't get tired. It might happen, man. You see it happen to people when they play the Broncos.
I want to see though, because if Usman doesn't come out and wrestle, then I think the whole knee cartilage thing is 100% like a problem. But I think we're going to see a wrestling Usman here. I think we're going to see an Usman that's not playing with his food, and I'm expecting a finish. I'm expecting another TKO ground and pound type finish, just like unanswered strikes. It's just Usman is just like pouring them in. And if he does lose, though, if Usman does lose, it's just crazy. Where does he go from here? Because like, is he gonna fight Kobe Covington? Does he fight Gilbert Burns? Does he fight Jorge Masvidal? Like RDA? Maybe? I don't know. Like, who does he fight next after? Because like, all I've ever known about this man is he's a champ. Like, so it's crazy to see if he does lose this fight. Like, where? Like, I won't see him fighting in a title fight after if he loses again.
That's actually a good question. And it's crazy that you rock with Usman so heavy because I definitely thought you was fucking with Leon Edwards.
See, I was fucking with Leon Edwards for the first fight. I think I still picked Usman to win. But Leon Edwards, I do fuck with him, but I don't know. His resume, people, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad resume. The win over Usman, which definitely makes it look a lot better now. He has a win over RDA. People thought RDA may be done at that point, but like as we've seen recently, RDA is definitely not done. So, and then he got the split decision win over Gunnar Nelson, which was close. A win over Cowboy in 2018, where Cowboy was still much alive. Win over Brian Barberena in 2017. Win over Vincent Luque 2017 in his prime. Like, but these are strikers. Other than
He
RDA,
ain't fight Tony Ferguson?
no, he didn't fight Tony Ferguson. He fought Nate
Oh,
Diaz,
that's the wrong weight class.
and Nate
No, I
Diaz.
thought he was waiting on the fight with Nate. Oh, he fought Nate?
Yeah, he fought Nate for the Usman fight, and he won 4.5 minutes of that fight, or 4.5 rounds, and then Nate Diaz cracked him and almost like dropped him in the fight. Like if people are saying if Nate Diaz would have probably chased that, who knows what would have happened? But Nate Diaz literally finally caught him with a good one. Instead of chasing it, he said, "Ah, you like that?" Like literally, you were like Nate, like why did you? If you would have fucking chased him down instead of gloating like I did that to you. Like you probably would have maybe won that fight. Instead, he lost
That's
the
insane.
decision loss. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like his, and then the like Gunnar Nelson's not a great wrestler, just a great BJJ fighter. Split decision, was able to get some takedowns. Belal Muhammad was really the only real wrestler I see on the resume that I'm like, okay, like what did he do? And it was a two round fight, no contest because of the eye pokes. Yes, he was stuffing the takedowns, but as you know, wrestling is a long term game where like as you start getting tired a little bit more, you're not gonna be able to stuff those takedowns in the 3, 4, 5 round. So
Especially if you train with Marab.
yeah, so that's why I'm like, I just think maybe I'm wrong, and then we'll see who's going to not come out and wrestle. Maybe Leon Edwards comes out with the cardio god himself. Who knows? I don't. We'll every pick is right until they lock the cage. I just think Usman is coming in with some relentless intent for this fight.
That's crazy. So like I refuse to be on your side on this one because I really thought you was going for Leon Edwards. So I'll pick Leon Edwards like a gangster's supposed to. But everybody knows I'm rooting for the now. You know I got Kamaru Usman. But like on the podcast, Leon Edwards. So if Leon Edwards is right, if Leon Edwards gets his whoop, I'll take a shot and I'll enjoy that shot.
So we'll run down the picks before we leave out of here. He has Edwards. I got Usman. We both got Fiziev. We both got Gunn. No, I got Gunnar Nelson. You got Brian Barberena. We both got Casey O'Neill, and I believe we both got Roman Delazzi. Or did you take Vittori?
Yeah.
Oh, they both got that.
That's I thought you was gonna take the Tories. See, you be trying to take my picks, Paul.
Nah, no. And I think Delazzi's also from the same country Marab's from. So point it out.
Come on now, George. Them Georgia boys, get right.
Yeah, let me double check before I start a World War III. Yeah, all right. He's from Georgia also. All right, yeah. Them boy, yeah. Georgia might be where some of the new killers are coming from. We saw the Dagestani days, and now we're going into the glory Georgia days.
Wherever Shavkat, India. India is where they're training killers right now.
Rachmanov is from Shavkat is from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, Shavkat and them boys. I bet you they got some hitters out there.
But
Fuck it, London got the hitters.
yeah,
Fuck it, London got the hitters.
We got Shea Patterson on this card, 10-1. Muhammad Makayev, Leroy Murphy, who we're gonna see watch fight against the 10-0. Gabriel.
Why did they? Is it Ilya Taporia and Patty not in the same weight class?
No, Taporia is in featherweight and not featherweight. What weight class? Yeah, no, he's in featherweight and um, Patty's in lightweight. They're one weight class away from each other.
Oh man, I was wondering why they didn't book this fight. But I guess people are. You think people are Molly Meatball and pattied out right now?
I think people are patty mollied out, but it's also because of how piss poor the performances have been. If they would have came in and like Molly lost, like we all thought she would if you were with me, but if you were with Patty, if you really thought Patty was something special, which a lot of casuals thought, and he barely got a win over Jared Gordon, like they kind of got a big problem on their hands because they have a star that they just need to make sure looks good, but he's at a point where like they're scared to probably put him against someone else in the top 50. Like put him in the top 15, and you don't know how he's going to work. So
And so they ain't put him on the pay per view
with Patty. It's either give up on Patty and feed him to someone like Taporia, maybe if he moves up, if you want to make him a star. But if you really want Patty to be a star, they got to be very strategic with his next couple opponents.
I think it's crazy. If he starts losing consistently, a lot of the shit that is funny might turn lame fast.
I will say I think his best opponent, and I literally think at lightweight, is Tony Ferguson.
Ooh.
Put the name on your resume,
Like
moves you up the rankings without having to fight a legitimate killer. And now you're sitting in the top 10, and you're in like, I feel like that's the perfect fit for him. You fight Tony Ferguson, you get to move up because I think you can win that fight, and you don't have to fight like a legitimate, like a real competing top 15 lightweight fighter.
true. But hey man, that's UFC London, man. You got anything else, Paul?
But I hope they blow the Goff off the O2.
Bro, this shit is gonna be loud. And Kamaru Usman is just saying that he has a lot of fans out there in London, so it's just gonna be a back and forth. And you know what's crazy about these? These boys is low key talking shit, and I don't think they really like each other. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, it's Leon. Leon's talking crazy. That's the only reason why I think Usman's gonna come because like Leon's been talking like he was winning a majority of that fight. Like the way he's been acting, I'm like shit. But also we saw that
Yeah.
with Aljo. We saw that with Aljo, and how did that play out?
And but it's crazy because I seen a stat that like only 4 or like 5 champions all time that won the rematch are getting their belt back. And we got 2 championships on the way. We got 2 champions trying to get their belts back. We got Izzy next pay-per-view, and we got Kamaru this one. So I don't think both of them are gonna get it. One of them got to give. So I'm hoping it's. I hope I'm rooting for. I'm team Nigerian Nightmare.
I agree. Only one getting them back. You're right.
So I don't know, man. I'm not playing these UFC odds. I'm not playing no MMA math. I'm sitting there like, hey, if percentages and shit go, let Leon get it because he earned it. And motherfucking, let's let Izzy finally beat motherfucking Alex to conquer this division again.
You know what's funny?
But that's just what
I broke down the Alex and Izzy shit to Dre. I was like, no, bro, you don't understand. I was like, Izzy was dominating, bro. Like he like number 1 ranked guy beat him. Number 2 beat him. Number 3, don't even want to see that fight. Number 4 killed him. And I'm like, and UFC went out and found the guy who beat him twice. And he was like, no. He was not like, bro, they pulled out the paperwork on that boy. And I was like, it's so crazy because the whole Izzy run prior to Pierre, never heard him lick about this Alex Pierre cat. Matter. Like we have a 18-0 undefeated great champion, has beat all these greats. Is he the GOAT? Who knows? But then once that shit started running stale, they were like, hold up. We're gonna go find his Undertaker. But you
no cap. That's just crazy, man.
That's all I have to say about that. That shit was funny to me.
That's just hey, we talking that shit because, hey, man, you will see us at UFC 287 in Miami. Yeah, boy, you better get a ticket right now because I know the resellers is taxing.
They sold out.
They sold out already?
They're almost sold out. And they literally had like a pic of all the seats and like who were resellers versus sellers, and that bitch was already like almost gone.
Imagine having to pay $1,000 for the same tickets we paid $600 for. That's crazy.
Couldn't be me.
But couldn't be me. But you know what we is though. I'm your boy Kev Waterboy Savoy, aka the Street Fighter Enthusiast. I'm in this bitch with Paul Pickham with him Contra, aka the Drunk Gambler. And this has been the Totally Blitz podcast. And we don't mind to tell you that it's top of the morning, tea and crumpets, motherfucking. We going to London for UFC London, UFC 280 motherfucking 6. It's about to be a banger. We'll see what the fuck goes down. But in the meantime, tell you, and the other dude behind you that you's a bitch.
Porn star measurements, plug here, 11 men, passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools, you could call them boy crap. Man, this gang got rules, man, you better watch your passes. This ain't not new, and it's some accent.